Well, I think the InfoEdge management is with us on the program next. Bank of America Securities has made a significant revision to its stance. They've upgraded the stock from underperform to buy, and they've also upped the price target to 9,000 rupees. To discuss this more, we have Chintan Thakkar, Chief Financial Officer at InfoEdge, now joining in. Chintan, good morning. Good to have you here. Prashant, this side. Just Chintan, for a name like InfoEdge, I mean, when we speak with analysts and ask them, well, what's the best idea to play interest rates in the US coming off? I'll get to individual lines of businesses for you in a bit. InfoEdge gets bandied about quite a bit as a response to that question. I just wanted your thoughts, Chintan, how you think about that big question. It's a big kind of a macro trade. I'm not asking you what the stock will do, but how many of your businesses are actually positively impacted if we are at the cusp of a big sort of cycle where rates come down significantly?
Look, I think from our business standpoint, most of our business, almost all of our business is domestic business. So it is not so much that, the interest rate in US really directly impacts, the domestic business. But what really happens is that, there is a compounding story that InfoEdge has. And if you really look at it over decades, InfoEdge has been compounding very strongly. And that's where when the arbitrage between what the prevailing interest rates are and the compounding rate at which the company is growing, that gap actually is of interest to analysts. And that's what kind of creates the buzz around saying when the interest rates are going down, some of the stocks which has a great past trend of compounding at a higher rate, and that's why there's a lot of enthusiasm about the stock.
Okay, Mr. Thakkar, well, that's the overall big macro picture. But let's come down to some of the micros. Now, this note which really caught our attention, where the target price is, I think, 9,000 on the stock. One of the reasons that this particular broking firm or this bank highlighted was that they're expecting Naukri to do very well and start showing sustained improved performance from here on. So tell us what the trends are like. And by the way, one of your peer companies, that's the other piece of news, right? We were also looking at Matrimony's getting into the job space. So clearly it's very lucrative. But what is the kind of business growth that you can project for Naukri?
Look, Naukri, if you look at the trajectory, past few quarters, there was a decline happening post the ramp up that happened after the COVID. And then, we have seen steadily it's kind of, getting at a steady rate, particularly our job market in the IT sector. And we have almost 50% dependency on the IT sector. So IT sectors was flattened out in Q4 last year, Q1. And now we are kind of now little bit of growth that we have seen past 2 quarters. And then it looks like that we are kind of recovering from there. And that's where we are saying that maybe we have bottomed out of the U-curve recovery. And maybe there are green shoots and we are kind of growing up. This is also, further complemented by the commentary that's coming from the IT services company that they are likely to hire more people because their bench is now kind of almost at the bottom. The utilization rates have gone up. So due to some of those trends, it looks like that there is a lot more optimism around how the growth in the job market would be. And it's kind of, supported by some of the activities on our platform as well. We publish job spec index, and that also seems to be suggesting that. So that's why there is a bit of more optimism around the Naukri business. And that's our largest business, that's most profitable business. So obviously there is a lot more enthusiasm for the Naukri business.
So sir, some projections will help, some numbers. I mean, even if you can give a rough band for FY 2025, and then if we talk about 26, but for the current fiscal year, what is the kind of top-line growth that Naukri can expect? And also just outline that for the other businesses, for Jeevansathi or for 99 Acres. Real estate markets are also booming. Individually, what's the kind of growth that you're expecting all your businesses to fire at?
Look, if I again going by the trends that we have, Naukri has been showing a double-digit or little, around closer to the double-digit kind of a growth in Q1. And we are hopeful that this will improve from here. So from going by that, our real target is to grow at least, in double digits. I would not be able to give you a real forecast of where it would be. A lot of our business for this quarter will happen in last 15 days of the third month. So we would really want to wait for it. But if you go by all the indications that so far we have, external as well as internal, it looks like that there could be a recovery happening, and we are hopeful for that, and that's what gets reflected, in some of the analyst, reports as well.
All right. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
businesses or even
Basically,
the aggregate top line number, that would help. I mean, if you can't give individual business projections,
Yeah,
then even
I
a
think
top
every
line revenue
business is-
projection, that would help.
Yeah, every business had a different kind of
Yeah.
trajectory. So 99acre, last quarter we have grown about 10%, but it was the focus is more on the efficient growth. Therefore the growth has been far more efficient, and the profits have the cash burn has kind of come down. Jeevan Sathi has been growing, at a much higher rate. It has been growing into almost like last quarter was like 35% growth, and that was also more efficient growth. So for all the other businesses, while there's a growth, there is also a lot more emphasis on the efficiency of the growth, and also ensuring that that we are not burning too much cash around there.
All right. Hi, Mr. Thakkar. Good morning and good to see you in. This is Nigel on this side. Just to reiterate, you believe that things have bottomed out in the IT space. Recruitment will improve from here on. And for the year, you're guiding for Naukri to grow in double digits. Did we get that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the expectations are, that we should get that.
And margins will hold in the mid-50s for Naukri?
Yeah, I think if you look at margin, I think, given that that's very high margin business for us, I don't think that points here and there really matters, but, we are expecting that the margins will grow. The good part of our business is, if I just give a little bit nuance to it, that, the large part of our cost, which impacts the margin is actually payroll cost, it's people cost. And when people cost is going up, what it also means is that there is a kind of a, bullishness in the overall hiring market. Right? So if that being the case, we have a natural hedge in that. So if the cost goes up, so is the top line. So and the top line is not so growing faster, the payroll cost is also lower trend.
Okay, got it. All right, let's talk about the smaller segments then. You were targeting break-even in Jeevan Sathi. Does it happen in this fiscal itself? And Shiksha will deliver a profit, right? That's what you're sticking to in terms of a guidance?
Yeah, so there's no formal guidance as such, but that's the expectation that we have built, that, Jeevan Sathi is a business which should get closer to break-even point. Shiksha has been in the range of profit making for the past years as well. So we would think that should continue. But yes, Jeevan Sathi is a business which should get closer to break-even. So is 99acre business.
Okay, all right. So give us a timeline then of both of them. Because I was going to ask you about 99acre, since you mentioned the cash burn is reducing over there. Give us a timeline. By the end of this fiscal, both these two businesses, they turn into the black, or are we being way too optimistic? Will you want to guide for some time in FY26?
Again, I'm not giving a formal guidance, and sometimes we
just an aspiration, sir.
Aspirationally, yes, as I've already said that look, this is what we would want to achieve, and this is what we want our internal team to execute on. But let's see how the market also reacts to it.
So break even for both 99acres and Jeevan Sathi, hopefully this year itself, right?
Yeah, that's the expectation.
That's the expectation. Sir, just to go back to the point that Prashant started on, the expectations from Info Edge. So we've discussed all the key businesses in the verticals. The market has a lot of interest in a lot of the investments that you have in Zomato or in PB Fintech as well. Could you tell us what is the aggregate market value? I know it's a notional value right now since you're holding them, but what would be the aggregate value and what's the plan? What's the strategy there? Would you be investing more? Would you look at monetizing at some point in time? There's been some chatter that you might go into an absolutely new, fresh line of business as well. Just some thoughts on the strategy going beyond the key businesses that we've already discussed.
And if I can just add to that, I just looked at year-to-date change for both stocks. I mean, it's remarkable. Both are up exactly 140% from the beginning of January to where they're trading right now. So, I mean, they've turned out to be phenomenal investments. Go on, Mr. Thakkar.
Yeah. So, look, we started investing, almost more than now, it's almost 15 years, right? So, Zomato, Policybazaar, we were the founding investors. And even as on date, we continue to be the largest, shareholder over there. So our strategy has been to go early and keep, doubling down on the investment that seems to be doing well and continue to hold them for a very long period of time. And that strategy seems to be paying off. We have, as we speak, as on this date, many other startups in which we have invested. but they are all very early stage, so it's very hard to really predict, which would be the next, Zomato or Policybazaar in that portfolio. But just to give you an idea, we would have an investment, roughly into, 100 plus companies. Right? So that gives you an idea about the number of investments that we have. And some of them, we are definitely hopeful that, they would do well for us. So this is now making an investment has almost become like a fifth vertical as a part of our strategy.
No, absolutely.
And we'll continue to do so.
How many of these 100 are IPO ready, sir?
No, I wouldn't, say even, one, although there are one or two small investments that we have which are at the pre-IPO stage. Other than that, I wouldn't really say that they are IPO ready. They are, as I said, that we go very early. And typically for a startup in Indian market, it takes almost like 12 to 15 years for a company to get ready for something like IPO. Unless you are very, very lucky like InfoEdge was, but otherwise, it takes certainly it's 10 years plus kind of a time period. It's a marathon. So it's a very patient capital that we have invested, and it's we are able to do that because we are investing from our profits. So we are able to
So I was exactly coming to that just to get a sense of the future. What is the cash level in the company right now, and what will the allocation plan be? How much as a percentage will you keep investing in some of these newer businesses?
So we do have almost closer to $500 million as our cash on our balance sheet. And even if as I said that we would have this investment as a fifth vertical, this startup by its nature itself does not take so much of money when you go early stage. So there's a kind of a certain percentage only that will go for it. We certainly have cash which is far in excess of what that it is, and that's good for us because we continue to invest in our operating businesses as well. So almost 2/3 of our value creation happens from the operating businesses, and we continue to do so. So there are some defensive reason for which we keep the cash balance. Also, there could be an opportunity for M&A if there's any possibility around that in the operating business side, or even there are some majority investments or minority investments with a path to go to majority, which create more synergies for our operating businesses. We are open to all such ideas, and that's the primary reason why we continue to hold a good amount of cash.
Okay, $500 million. That's that headline stays. $500,000. Yeah, I was wondering. Okay, $500,000.
$500,000. So it's almost like about 4,500.
4,500 crores of cash, right, in the book right now. That's a great war chest to have to invest and to look at M&A opportunities. And we look forward to more announcements and more conversations as and when that happens. Thank you very much for joining in and giving us some more perspective on the business. That's InfoEdge.